Alright, Loki JF is back here, about to talk about the armor. The armor of the coat, and yeah, you can tell my nice shoe glue is not infallible, especially when it comes to Wonderflex. These are parts of the snaps that that once again cannot be fully applied, by poking a hole, using the tool and the hammer. You've got to glue them on. Glued snaps have been fine elsewhere on the costume. Snaps against leather, snaps against vinyl, it's been fine. Snaps against Wonderflex, it tends to occasionally come loose. But I unsnapped these guys like practically never. Like, this is one of the first times that I've unsnapped them, and yeah, sure enough, it was maybe it's the heat, a combination of many factors, but yes, they can become fragile and loose. Spot of glue and it'll be like new. All right, well, let's talk about the armor. That's what we're here for this time. This clasp is a tad shorter than I would have liked. I would have liked it to go maybe all the way down to here. I feel that mine is smaller than it should have been. I don't know when I noticed it. It obviously must have been too late. I must have already cut it, started building it, and oh, look at that. Looking back at the picture, it seems like it doesn't cover enough of my chest area as it should, if you look at Loki. So shouldn't have told you that. If I'd never told you, you wouldn't have noticed. But anyway, there it is. Gotta live with it because darn, it's good looking. I'm quite happy with it. Just the size bugs me a little. But anyway, so you need a basic back piece, and then another piece here. So cut here and here. So now this is obviously another layer added on top. You need another piece that does that, and of course little spots here. Now you need this. You need a big roundy shape here that actually curls upward, and another piece that runs through it underneath and on top and ends up here. And yes, so you can see there are two pieces here that curl into each other. Tricky but important. There are two more little spots near the top, and finally there's this little piece here that wraps around the edge. On the other side, as I've already showed you, I've got this little piece through which the belt can pass through. I've got another one here on top. This snap never unsnaps. I never unsnap it. I could, but there's never any need for it. It might as well be there permanently. And this little thing is well, it's still useful. The snap doesn't need to be there. It could be fixed permanently to the Wonderflex. This, however, is useful. Without that, the belt would be free to just rotate around the snap and just end up here like that, or here. So yes, this groove here is important. It guides the strap along the right trajectory. This one here and this one, yes. So they're both useful for that reason. And that's it. Enough about the clasp. And it's all about the shoulder, after all. It's all about the shoulder pad. As you can see, there are two whole separate pieces. There are two pieces, and they're not glued. They're not fixed together in any way. And well, no permanent way. Look, they're completely loose. They are fixed together because of the belt system. See, the small belt runs through both. See, there's a slit in both pieces of the shoulder pad, and it comes out here on the other side. Can't really see it, but there it is. And the large belt also runs through. One of them doesn't run through. It's a notch, as you can tell. There's a notch here. It's all the way through. Here it's just a notch. But yes, it runs through the shoulder patch, and now underneath, what you couldn't see before, now you can, is this area where both belts are permanently fixed together. This is not a snap. This little plug, this ugly little plug here is Wonderflex. I drilled a hole through both belts, and then I heated a big blob of Wonderflex. I put the Wonderflex through the hole and just pressed really hard on both sides. Waited for it to cool, and there you go. Both of my belts are fused together here permanently. So, but I could unsnap this. All right, run the belt through the slit here. I suppose a snap would have a hard time slipping through the slit, but I guess it's possible. And by the same token, the bottom, the white belt, I could also, well, I always do unsnap it. You know, I have to unsnap it to put it on enough, but I could run it all the way down through the hole here in the back of the coat, and I could just pull on it. I could essentially take the entire belt off. I like that. I like when things are not permanent, even though they essentially are. I would never do what I just said. I would never yank the belt off. But hey, let's say it breaks. Let's say something nasty happens to it. Let's say I need to replace it. Well, I can. Without much effort, I can. Don't even need to cut it anywhere. Just pull, and then I could just, from here, yank it out through both of these slips, and it would come loose. So there you go. That's for the belts and how they are fixed to the pad, and the belts are, these belts are the reason that the two pads sort of hold together, even though they're not. See, they are, like I mentioned already, they're not glued. It's the belts. The belts hold them together. And they don't flop around. When they're on my shoulder, they don't do that. They don't flop around because the belt is dragged tightly down and the thing is resting on my shoulders, so they don't wobble around. And if they ever do, I think that would look pretty darn sweet. If they just wobbled around ever so slightly, I think that would be a great touch. So there you go. And now there's nothing left to do than just show you everything that we got here. The bottom part it goes all the way up here. Nearly to the well, actually not definitely. It goes on my collarbone. This is roughly where my collarbone is. So it starts here, and you can tell that there's an edge. There's an edge here, all the way around, and in the back, the edge becomes much thicker, and it stops short. It doesn't go all the way here. Like in the front, it stops here. So if you look at it from the back, you will see this big piece here, but nothing there. Whereas from the front, it goes all the way here. Other than the edge, you've got the little studs here. You've got a line here, and of course, we've got a snake. We've got a snake. And snake, yeah, with little eyes, little eyes that I poked. The snake goes on, sorry, bad framing here, there we go. The snake goes on, the snake passes underneath these little lines here. These are tiny little slips of Wonderflex that I added after the snake, obviously after the snake. And now the snake is not done, it keeps curling and it disappears underneath here, and we don't see it. Aha, you think we don't see it, but actually, the snake keeps going here on the other piece. So obviously this is not the same piece of Wonderflex. This piece of Wonderflex, it just ends, there you go. It ends there. That's the end of that snake. But we want the illusion that the snake actually keeps going. The snake really is supposed to keep going on the other piece. There it is, see, a little roundy part here. Passes underneath these similar little lines, and the snake actually ends here in a little curl. So it starts near the front and does all this crazy stuff, passes underneath a bunch of things. It changes from one piece of armor to the other and ends in a curl. So that's already quite an important piece. And now we have the lion. Lion here on top. Well, before you apply the lion, you have to apply the mane. Most pieces of the mane must go before the lion. So, see, actually, no. The first piece of mane that you want to install is this one. This one here. This one is overlaps the previous one. This one overlaps the previous one. See, they all overlap on top of each other until the very first one, which will actually run over top of your slit here. Once you've got those, and yes, obviously they need to curl up here, up near your neck here. You need now to install these guys here. This one here, for some reason, it's shorter. I'm pretty sure I saw that. I'm sure that this is accurate. These ones are longer. They go all the way here, and then there's they make a rounded edge here. So there's a patch here where the mane ends. So and again, they also overlap on top of one another. This one overlaps onto the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. And there's more here. On the other side, this one is first, and the next one overlaps this one. So yeah, so they overlap like this way, like this. On the other side, they overlap the other way. Wait, no, that's not right. No, they all overlap from bottom to top, from bottom to top. This is the topmost. This one overlaps all the others, and same thing here. Yeah, so from bottom to top. Sorry, scratch that. Yeah, they all. Yeah, they all overlap from bottom to top. See, this is the bottommost, and the next ones overlap on top of each other until they end up here. It's the angle. The angle threw me off. This part of the mane goes upward, and this one goes downward. So the angle threw me off. But yes, they all overlap each other like this direction. And we've already seen these little guys overlapping one another. The central. This is not directional like this or this. This is central one overlaps the ones on either side, and then the ones on either side. So the overlapping here starts in the middle and then goes both ways. And then here we've got a little bit more overlapping. The bottom one is here, and this overlaps, this overlaps, this overlaps, and this is the topmost one. All right, and now finally we've got the lion. The lion itself, well, it has a shape to its face. It has tusks. I don't know. I guess this can't be a lion if it's got weird tusks here. Tusks. This is what, like whiskers here. We've obviously got a little nose here. We've got that little upside down T. That definitely gives it a feline touch. And look, there's a few more spikes here. Spikes along the side of the face. Spikes along the other side of the, and as you can tell, the spikes follow the angle of the line. See, these lines, like as I said, they go downward. Well, look, the spikes also go downward. These ones, they go out this way before curling up, so the spikes also go out this way. And we've got little eye slits. What more can I say? We've got eyebrows, and of course one giant V-shaped eyebrow. I believe that's it. I'm just gonna show it to you again, this time by paying attention to my camera framing for a change. You guys must be having motion sickness, looking at me wobble all over the place. And there you go. All you need now is gold paint or gold leaf and love. And with that, we are, I shudder to think, we are done, I believe. I will now talk to you about what one would do to turn this costume into the battle version. I've already hinted at it many times, but I will go into details about what needs to be added, what needs to be removed to make this Loki into a Battle Avengers Loki. Till next time, kneel and subscribe. Forgot to mention that these snaps didn't used to be there. 3 snaps holding the shoulder armor. The shoulder armor piece on. This was another place where I used to have magnets. Thought that the magnets would be strong enough to hold this thing on. It most certainly did not. So I had to MC a masquerade with my shoulder pad just barely hanging on, just by sheer gravity and sheer willpower. So that was quite something. Snaps are definitely the way to go. So there you go.